Hello everyone, and this is my video for the Congress to listen to for PCOS Advocacy Day. As I can't participate by being there physically, I thought I would make a video and hopefully make a difference. There are many reasons why we need to acknowledge PCOS in the world more than just try to scoot it under the rug and make us feel only ashamed about our body, because 1 in 5 women like myself has PCOS. There's so many issues that you deal with. There's irregular cycles, infertility, diabetes, and it goes undiagnosed for far too long because our doctors don't treat it as an actual illness or quote-unquote sickness. It gets dismissed because people just think it's a hormonal imbalance. Why bring attention or awareness to such a thing? It can be solved by medicine, but that's not always the case. There's no cure for PCOS. Mine has never been cured, and I know that others have not. I know that we are misunderstood and often bullied, that sometimes we're anxious and stressed by this wonderful syndrome. I think too often that people hear the word ovarian and they stop listening because they think, it's just hormonal. There's more to a hormonal imbalance than just being hormonal, and please don't dismiss it as such. I know that PCOS is very hard on us females because, most people have never heard of it and they want to dismiss it so quickly because they just don't know what it's about. And when they don't know, it's easier to overlook and just pass judgment as to, not important. The only part of that whole word, polycystic ovarian syndrome, that doesn't really get the focus it deserves is syndrome. And it doesn't really explain the complexity of the physical, the energetic, the emotional aspects of PCOS. It makes our relationships very, very hard. When you're in a relationship, people can't understand what you go through, let alone the roller coaster of your body not being able to follow a strict guideline, to let alone the less energy that you have because of that hormonal imbalance, your exercise, your sleep, and your stress levels, and you feel drained. But the most important thing that I would like us to do is for us not to feel less vulnerable by such effects of stress, which is hard to do because it affects our brain. And every average woman is susceptible to that stress because we're more moody, we're more reactive to irritable and short-tempered and downright angry. So you can see how it affects the relationships, because men don't want to stay with a woman who can find mistakes or faults rather than try to work with them. These days they'd rather walk away. It's a lot easier. And with PCOS, I think that we are embarrassed about our own body because we're not the ideal weight. We're not the ideal, I believe it's 36, 24, 36 that men look for, the Barbie dolls. We have more weight, sometimes thinning of hair, adult acne. And, with that weight, it brings on the possibility of sometimes having diabetes because it's an insulin resistance. I'm being very open and honest, but most of all authentic with you all right now. Sometimes it's easy to say that you're not going to be in a relationship because of being too tired, too moody, or you feel shame about your own body because you feel like you can't compete with the Barbie dolls. But what's even worse is when you have your issues of all the symptoms that you struggle day in and day out just to be enough for yourself, let alone be enough for a man in a relationship. With my particular case, I had ovarian drilling when I was in my 20s. I had hopes and dreams of finding the man that I was going to marry, settling down, and hopefully giving the gift of life by being able to have a child. That unfortunately, as of yet, has not happened. I'm the age 43 and my doctor had advised me by age 35 to have done it already. So I'm not doing this so much for myself as I want to help someone else out there listening. And I will be at war with PCOS until the day I die. The funny thing is, when I first heard the diagnosis of PCOS, that was the first thought in my mind was, okay, tell me how long I have to live. The doctor, God bless her, looked at me and said, probably a long, long time. It just may affect your health down the road more than it already has. She had no idea how right she was. Sometimes those mood swings can be quite awful. More than anything, the older that you get, the worse I think that PCOS really gets on a woman, like myself. For so many years, I had been misdiagnosed and misunderstood by the doctors that I went to. And I know there's probably some young women out there watching this video right now going, wow, she's speaking my truth. I want them to not go another day without saying, what about me is not good enough? Why am I not enough? You are enough. It is not your fault that you have this. And until they can cure this, we're all in this fight together. If you have PCOS, you are not alone. Most importantly, we need to find a cure. Let's stop sweeping this under the rug and start acknowledging it for what it truly is. It's more than a hormonal imbalance. It's more than, well, you could have diabetes someday down the road. It's more than being like, well, she's a moody train wreck, so overlook what she says. No, don't overlook a single solitary second. Because maybe they're speaking from their heart, maybe they're speaking from their raw emotions of how they really feel. With PCOS, it is a living nightmare. And more than anything, I pray that not one more case goes undiagnosed or overlooked as a hormonal imbalance. This needs to stop. We must find a cure. So on today, being PCOS Advocacy Day, Congress, I implore you to find a cure for PCOS. Thank you, and God bless.